The first song I ever wrote.
First song I ever wrote was probably Brother B. That was back in junior high school and shit. Blunt Brothers.
Well, I gotta admit that the first song I ever wrote was I was biting pretty much.
The first song that I ever wrote, I wrote this song at the time. Me and my boy Dave, we grew up together on Winthrop back in Flatbush, and we wrote this song called Street Corner, and we actually performed it. That was the first time I met Super Nat, and that's the first time I really got introduced to Derek Janier, who's part of the Legacy as well. He does all the film for Legacy and all the videos for Legacy.
The first song I ever wrote was when I was in my group. We were a spoken word group out of Brooklyn called Second to Last.
That's a tough question because I didn't really used to write songs. We used to kind of jot things down really and kind of like remix them to things, I guess, like mini mixtape songs.
I think it was probably a poem or a story. I don't know if it was a song.
When I first heard Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, this song, not Lottie Dottie, it was before Lottie Dottie, the show. When I first heard the show, that was the best flow I had ever heard. I was so blown away by that.
The first song I ever really wrote, like, with purpose, was a song right before my grandmother passed away. I kind of did a little freestyle on a video, and I just kind of started realizing, like, okay, maybe we got something here.
But my first song, Psycho Insane. I was in a band called Lucky Suicide, a punk band. My neighbor Franco, and we wrote this song called Psycho Insane.
Well, here's a little something that needs to be heard. Well, I was going downtown. Was it? Word. That flow at that time.
We had two songs. We had another song called Party Pooper, but we had Street Corner. That was the first song. We kind of, it was a little hammy, man, a little choppy. I ain't gonna lie. At the time, I thought it was the bomb. But yeah, that was the first joint I ever wrote. I produced both the joints. We went with Party Pooper because we said the party song was probably gonna be the best song to go out at the time. So yeah. That's pretty much it. Street Corner, leave it alone and be glad you got a home.
The song was about the path of a bullet. Getting the bullet, putting it in the gun, shooting it, and how many people were affected by its path. So that's probably the first thing that, first song I ever wrote.
There was a time when Slick Rick was my favorite rapper, and so the first song I ever wrote was my own version of that verse, and I don't remember how it goes, but I just bit the whole thing. That was my first song I ever wrote.
Legacy.